Well, this week, laws were passed in the Victorian Parliament with the support of the Liberals to deny procedural fairness and rules of evidence to local government councillors in dispute hearings. The supposed aim of the Local Government Amendment, Governance and Integrity Bill is to fix poor councillor conduct. But is this legislation really an anti-democratic control mechanism being imposed on local councils by the state government? Joining me now to discuss this is Family First Victorian Chair and a local government candidate herself for the local government area of Casey, the city of Casey in southeast Melbourne, Jane Foreman. Jane, thanks so much for your time today. What's going on here?
Well, Lyle, I think it's just a further encroachment by the we can call it the Andrews-Allen government here in Victoria to shut down anybody that disagrees with anything that they think our society should have, that we need to embrace all the ideologies and agendas that they're pushing, and too bad what anybody else thinks, or if there's any opposition to it, we're going to shut you down. It's very concerning. This legislation is really concerning. I haven't had a good look at it. I know Moira Deeming spoke strongly against it in Parliament, but I haven't been able to, just perhaps get the finer details of what it actually means. But I do know it's very serious.
Yeah, and it's only just been passed in this last week or so, and that's interesting. You point out Moira Deeming spoke against it, the expelled Liberal, yet the Liberals voted for this. Jane, I'm really concerned because even before this legislation was passed, we've seen Latrobe City Councillor Melissa Ferguson suspended without pay for very reasonable comments on social media, but comments, which didn't fit the as you call it, the Andrews-Allen government's narrative. Melissa was on this show a couple of months ago. Here's a reminder of what she said. Did you ever think that in a democracy that anyone other than the voters could suspend an elected person from elected office?
What's concerning me more is that people don't see anything wrong with it. A large amount of people don't seem to have a problem with a system that's not actually based on open justice or solid evidence, but quite often the opinion of the arbiter.
So, Jane, Melissa was suspended without pay for exercising free speech on her private social media account, even before this Local Government Amendment, Governance and Integrity Bill came in last week. How much worse do you reckon it will be now for councillors?
Well, I really don't know, Lyle, but it is very concerning, isn't it? Because, like you say, she's already been suspended. And then, why do we need this legislation if, they've already got that power? So what further powers are they going to impose upon local councils? Yep. It's just a very insidious agenda.
It sure is. Now, you've been triggered yourself in the right way to stand for the city of Casey for the local council elections, which are coming up. One of the things that I understand has triggered you, and you've commented about this publicly, is this whole drag queen story time that's being imposed on local councils. And also the Victorian government has provided staff at Victoria's more than 290 public libraries a new Rainbow Libraries Toolkit in order to be more inclusive, so they say, of LGBTIQA plus communities. But is this really just a way of smuggling in gender fluid ideology, indoctrination of little children?
Well, it certainly is, Lyle, and I'd even go to say that it's grooming as well. Yeah. You have the age group that they're aiming for this toolkit the idea is to make the library more welcoming for that particular group, to promote books, to really just feed into that agenda. So, to have a little 5-year-old being approached by a stranger because you don't really know the staff in the library, what pronouns they prefer to go by is just obscene. I mean, it's beyond belief that they'd be receiving training or abilities to, trainings to accept that. So, yes.
So I think this is really interesting, and the fact that people like yourself, and I know you wear a Family First party hat, although you're running as an independent. You're the chair of Family First in Victoria, which is great. But like many of these local governments, people might have political affiliations, but they run as independents, which is what you're doing. As a local councillor, what can you do then to protect the little children in the city of Casey from this state government imposed agenda?
Well, Lyle, certainly, I mean, it's difficult to say what effect one person can have. But if it happens that we could get a good group of people elected that have similar views, then I think there are maybe policies or that we can implement to make sure that children are protected that are coming to our libraries in the city of Casey and, for that matter, all across Victoria. So I think we're going to have to be as wise as serpents and as gentle as doves, but we just can't sit back and not engage in the public square, even if it's going to be that we're hauled between before tribunals or whatever. I think we've still got to speak. We can't shrink back. We've got to be strong. We've got to stand, and that's why I'm doing that.
Yeah, really well said, Jane. I think you're absolutely right. If good people like yourself don't get involved, these agendas will just continue to march through our local libraries and through our local communities. Jane Foreman, we wish you all the best in your bid for the local council at Casey there.